Rip them out the plastic. These men been acting brand new.
When I'm motivated by something, I like to see it through.
And it's no short task. Men are going viral, getting surgery on their knees to make them appear taller.
Like, I just hated being short.
Some want the attention from the ladies, but for others,
it just bothered me a lot.
It's deeper than that. The patients and the doctors stepping into the shade room, why limb lengthening is becoming the new talk of the town in the world of cosmetic surgery. I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Height matters, says dozens of men who've been sharing their surgery stories on social media. And the bottom line with these guys is that they are not happy standing at around 5'5". They say that they're reminded when they go out on dates with women or stand next to taller guys in pictures. And social media has fueled the popularity of a growing medical procedure that promises to fix those insecurities one rod at a time.
I was 5'5.5".
And that wasn't cutting it for Moses Gibson when he moved to the United States from Liberia for college back in the early 2000s. All the guys around him were just taller.
Have you always not been happy with your height? Did this date back to what, childhood? Were you always not pleased with how tall you were?
Yeah, it started sometime around when I was, I'd say probably 13, 14. If you remember around our age, kids, you're normally comparing your height. You know, boys, you turn your back and then compare your height with each other and all that kind of stuff, you know? And from there, I just saw that I was always the shorter one.
He got older and started reading up on human growth hormones. Even spoke to a spiritual healer who told him this.
He said, well, it's possible, but it has to come from you. You have to believe that it can be done.
But that wasn't giving him the leg up he's always wanted in the height department.
I went to a website, I think it's called shortpersonsupport.com. That's where I found all the information that this can be done.
Limb lengthening surgery. A surgeon breaks each of your legs, inserts rods inside of them, and over the course of 3 to 4 months, the rods are lengthened using an external remote control device called an ERC. It's a slow process. The rods stretch up to 1 millimeter per day until new bone grows over those rods. Dr. Shahab Mahboubian performed Gibson's first surgery back in 2016, a $75,000 procedure. He went from 5'5" to 5'8".
I make very, very tiny, small incisions where we cut the bone, where we insert the nail and screws that hold everything together. There is pain, yes, but it's very tolerable. But that's why I keep my patients in the hospital for a couple of days to make sure that, A, they don't have any major complications like any blood clots.
This is Gibson today, now recovering from a second round that'll take him to 5'10". It's another $100,000 that he spent to make it happen earlier this year.
You've been in a wheelchair for months?
Yes. The more you walk, the faster you generate bone and the faster it hardens.
You have devices inserted into your kneecaps right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel it as you walk?
You don't feel it per se. You feel a tightness, you know, you feel tightness, you feel soreness in your muscles. There's some pain, like I said, but it's not unbearable. The painful part is mostly the first month because, you know, all the trauma to your legs, you know, your legs are still trying to recover.
Would you feel comfortable if somebody said, hey, can you run a mile with me? Would you feel comfortable with that, those type of physical activities?
Yeah, after the first one, I went back to playing soccer.
But the risk is what we wanted to know about. Could a surgery like this do more harm than good long term? Dr. Mahboubian says in some cases, yes.
What can go wrong in a situation like this when, you know, somebody does want to get taller?
Luckily for us in the US, we have the FDA, and everything that we use in medicine has to be approved by the FDA, including the implants that I use to lengthen their legs. I've seen a few patients where, you know, they went to another country, they used the same nail that I use, but they lengthened it so quickly without checking that they ended up without building any bone. So the whole surgery had to be redone again.
Luckily, that wasn't the case for Denzel Seegers from Atlanta, who flew to Turkey to get his legs done in December 2022. He's been in the spotlight documenting his recovery on TikTok.
Height was always an insecurity. Like, I just hated being short.
And $80,000 well spent, he says, when he spoke to his surgery center. About 3 inches added to his femur, 2 inches to his tibia. He was 5'5". Now he stands at 6 feet.
When I would go on dates, sometimes the girls would wear heels, and I would wear shoes to make me taller, and I would put little heels in my shoes sometimes to make me a little taller because I didn't want to go on a date and she'd be taller than me. Height is more important for men because as a man, we're seen as the provider, the protector, and all these different things. And you can be as muscular as you want, but for some reason, shorter men are not seen as capable of protecting like their family.
Height, seen as a token of masculinity, it's not unheard of. According to a study by the National Library of Medicine, quote, women generally indicate preferences for men taller than themselves, whereas men indicate preferences for relatively shorter women. Women in the Western Hemisphere, which does include the United States, generally prefer men who are taller than the average man, who stands about 5'9".
Has this helped with your self-esteem? Has this helped with maybe, your love life, getting out there? Talk to me about that and how it has changed your trajectory of your life.
Yeah. So self-esteem for sure. Love life is kind of difficult to tell because, people, women look for different things here and there. But I would say that it gave me a little bit more confidence. Before, I was hesitant to talk to ladies, talk to females, but after that, I didn't care so much about my height. It was not, after the first one, it was not a thing in the back of my mind constantly.
Would you say that you did this because you wanted to be more appealing to women? Women
will be just a subset of it. The bigger part is just the person I wanted to be, me as a person. So it's a whole package. It's not just about women.
Some people may say maybe this is something that you have to reach deep within and understand, I don't like this aspect of my body, but it is not the end of the world to go as far as getting knee surgery. So talk to me about that. Have you spoken to experts? Have you spoken to therapists?
It's almost a little bit embarrassing, especially for guys, right? To have that kind of conversation out. So I would say that I kept it as a secret. I never really considered talking to maybe a psychologist or somebody of that nature to help me out.
New York City-based orthopedic surgeon Dr. Taylor Reif will sometimes recommend his patients see a psychologist.
I think we're actually kind of at the cusp of it booming even further.
He says he's definitely seeing a surge in interest, men wanting to be taller.
I think you have to be really aware of what you're going to get out of this. This is not suddenly going to make you more successful. It can help you build confidence if you feel like, if you've lacked confidence due to your height, but it's, the nuts and bolts of this is you're just a little bit taller. And we try not to overpromise what this procedure can do for people.
Dr. Reif says that this can be a years-long process with a lot of physical therapy, a lot of stretching and recovery, and it's not for everybody, which is the reason why he's going to be scaling back a little bit when it comes to performing these surgeries for cosmetic reasons. He says that many people out there really need this surgery, including people who suffer from limb deformities and even bone cancer. This episode of TSR Investigates is not intended to contain medical advice. All content is for informational purposes only and is not to substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment from your physician or other healthcare provider. Please contact your physician for any personalized medical care and any questions you may have about a medical condition. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin Carter. Hello, roommates, and thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Do you want more TSR Investigates? Be sure to subscribe and check us out at theshaderoom.com.